We are in the series of Golang for Kids, and today we'll learn how to create a user and save to the database. So when we create the user and the password and save to the database, we do not want to save the password as a plain text. So for that, we need some encryption technique. So I like this function, the bcrypt. So using this function, you can pass your password and it will return the hash password, and we can save that hash password in a database. So nobody in the organization can see the password. You cannot decrypt that password, but there is a function to compare the password. So what we can do, the next time when user provides the password, we can take that password and we can get a hash password from the database, and we can use the bcrypt function to compare the password, and it will return true or false. So that's we have used that, and let's see the code. So in the code, we can start with the main first. I have changed some of the structure here, so we'll see all those things. First, see the schema. So I need to create a table. So the table is a login user, and there is an ID, one field, and user password, created date and updated date. And go to the main. So in the main function, I have changed a little bit here, that the main looks more cleaner now. So till here it was same, and the three lines I have added new, and I have moved the code from here to the menu. There are few imports. There is a controller, repo, and the service. So here we have created the object, and we have passed this object to service. So when we pass this object to the service, then what happens, the service can use any of the function inside this MySQL connection object. And again, I have passed this service to the controller. So any function, like the menu function or any function, can use this service. So this is the very standard structure where we have to organize the code, and it's very easy to know where your code is. So it's a layer based code. So I had already created this folder for that, but today I added the code over there. So let's just start with this MySQL connection object. So in a repo, there is no change at all here. That is as it is. We have the connection to GOM, and that's fine. We have not made any change here in the repo Go. The user repo has a code to create the user in a database. So let's see this. So I have created the function, and before that I added this line. So this is MySQL connection is the struct in a repo, MySQL connection, and this is my function, and I added this here. That means this function is not the independent function, but this is the part of this MySQL. Now this is called the method. This is the method of MySQL connection. So in the MySQL connection, there is a method that create the user. Let's create the user in a database. So we'll pass some user information, login user information, and then we can use m and then .db. Inside that there is a db object, and then we can call the GOM function create, and we pass that object. If there is an error, it will return the error. Otherwise it will return nil and say the user created successfully, and we can see that in a database. So this function is part of this repo, this MySQL connection. and this function need to be accessed from the service. So that's why we have created this object and we have passed in the service. So the service function can utilize this object. So we call that service in a controller, and the controller will call the service. Service will call the create user function. So next step is let's see the service. The service new. So if you go to the service, there are two files. So in init, I have created this function service.new, and it returns the object service object, and this object hold this connection, and whole service we can pass to the controller. So the controller hold the service, and the service hold MySQL connection object, and with the help of that we can call the function. If you go to the user service, in a user service we have this function for the hash. So that's exactly what I copied from that's the Chrome, and that's for the hashing the password. And we need to import the bcrypt, so you can put it there, and in the terminal you can run go mod tidy, so that you can the library can be brought there in a mod file. So that's the one thing, and this function is ready here. So this is the user service. In a init there is a one struct that holds MySQL connection object, and there's a new function. In the new function, whatever the MySQL connection object we pass from the main, we can put under the MySQL connection, not under the email exam service, and we can return exam service. And then the user service, there is a function create user. So we call this function from the controller. We pass the user password, we hash that, and we create the object. The more we'll pass the user hash password and time, and then we can pass this this object to MySQL connection, because this is the S EMP service. If I do the S dot MySQL connection, we can see the MySQL connection because we have put this MySQL connection under the service. So inside the init, if you see here, MySQL connection, and then we can call the create user, and this will call the repo create user, and it will return if there is an error. You can check the error also here. So if error not equal to nil, then return error, otherwise return nil. Now let's go to the controller. So in a controller there are two files. One is initgo. In initgo again, I have put the exam controller that hold the exam service. There's a new function, and there's a new function. We call this in a main, and we pass the service. So this holds the service. We put that service in exam controller and return that object. Through that object we called the main, like let's say exam control, you call the menu. So controller go, come here, and this is the menu we are calling. So this menu is I just copied from the main. I added few lines. One is the 0 for create user, and this we call this function create user. Some menu function again I copied from there. I made this part of this exam controller, so I added this line there, and this is the new function completely. Exam controller, where it will ask the user to enter user and the password, and then we can pass user and the password to the create user function. So we can use this object e, and then we can call exam service, and exam service as a function create user. So and then let's see another one, the model. So model is a login user. Exactly all the field should be the same to the schema. This is the login user, and when we save that in a database using the GOM, it will automatically convert this to the login underscore user, and try to find that user in a database. So actually that is the standard way we can have like login underscore user, but sometime we need to have a different name of the table, so that we can decide here itself. So I'm saying, the table name is login user, so when it goes to the database, then it will be saved as a login user, not login underscore user. So whatever the name you give here, it will search that table in a database. So that's why I have given this. This is related to this same. Created date, this will be created date. I want to have this name in a field, in a table field, exactly in the same way. So that's why I have given this. We can put it here, but anyway, this will be saved at a ID, user, and password. So that's fine, because this name with the schema is the same. But this looks like, if you see the camel case, it's a two name. So if you do not put, then it will go and try to look for create an underscore date. So that is the way to override this. So I have already run this. Let's again run and create another user. User service 26. Error is already there, so that's not a new variable. Run it and the zero create. This time I'm going to create in case2, password is in case2, and this is hash password. It's saying user created successfully. This is the second record. So let's go and check in a database. So this time there are two records. Okay, so one thing I noticed, this field is not getting generated, the ID field in case2, and this is the hash password, but this field is not. Yeah, so let's look for that, why it is not generating. So for that, let me delete all the data first. Login user, not star is not needed here. Okay. We deleted. Let's see some of the code. This is gone. Create user example. Just say gone. So there may be some way to auto generate that. So either we need to put the logic in a code uh, to have this auto increment. So we can put in a schema itself also, or there may be some way here. See something like this. Let's try with this default UID generate v3. Let's go and put that in a model. No, it didn't take. Okay, we can check that in a we can see that in a next video. So I think that's all for today. At least we created the user. So in the next video we'll try to see this option, and then we'll try to go to the sum menu with the correct password. So that's all for today. Thank you.